Hello everybody, thank you for coming to another story time. We have a really special story time today because Halloween is coming up. And in honor of Halloween, when we see lots of skulls and skeletons and bones and Halloween decorations, we have a book today that's all about animal skulls. So I brought a few of my favorite skulls that I have, like this beaver skull. But this whole book is a skull alphabet book. So we're going to go through. Each letter is for a different mammal skull, and it doesn't tell you what it is. You're going to have to try to guess and figure out what each skull is. I have a couple of my other favorite skulls I'll show you real quick before we begin. We have our coyote skull. So you can see how a carnivore skull, right, will have big teeth for helping it catch prey. It also has forward-facing eyes so that they are locked onto their prey that's out in front of them, and they have these big teeth to help them catch their prey, whereas a prey animal skull, this skull is one that I found and I'm very proud of. Prey animal skulls have eyes facing to the side, so out in front are predators, eyes on the side, likes to hide, we say. Those are prey items. And you'll see they have kind of flat teeth for grazing. These are our plant eaters. So skulls can tell us a lot about the type of animal that they belong to and what their diet is and maybe what their role in the ecosystem is, which is pretty cool. So today's story is called The Skull Alphabet Book. It was written by Jerry Pallotta and illustrated by Ralph Mazzello. Let's go ahead and get started. So remember, it's not going to tell you what the skull is. You are going to have to guess. Ooh, I just gave away this one. We just saw this skull. Look at those teeth. Really sharp teeth out in front, because beavers play a very important role in our ecosystem with ecosystem modification. So they are cutting down tons of trees and changing the landscape, and these sharp teeth out front help them do that. So again, we can tell a lot by a skull. Warning. This book contains the alphabet. If you are afraid of the alphabet, do not read any further. The letter A. This is a science book about mammal skulls. A skull is the head of a skeleton. Leg bones, arm bones, rib bones, and backbones are not in this book. A is for we are not telling you. As you read this book, you will have to use your skull. Actually, what's in your skull? Your brain. Can you guess what animal this is? Think. Its skull is perfectly shaped for eating small, six-legged creatures. So who would have a really long front on their skull that likes to eat ants? Starts with the letter A. Can you guess it? B. B is for we are still not telling you. Did you think we were kidding? Every skull tells a story. Be a detective. Look for clues in the different parts of the skull. So B is for, and it labeled some of the different parts of the skull here. The zygomatic arch, eye sockets, cranium, nasal passage, upper jaw, so take a look at the teeth, and the lower jaw. And the zygomatic arch is where part of our jaw muscles attach. So this animal may have very powerful jaws because it's got a pretty big zygomatic arch. So what animal, pretty big, starts with letter B? C is for this skull should be easy to figure out. You do not have to guess. Guessing is random. You can figure it out logically. Maybe a warm bowl of milk will help. What animal might like to eat an animal that might get stuck in a mousetrap? Starts with letter C. D. D is for, there are 4 different types of teeth: incisors, canines, bicuspids, and molars. Canine teeth are sharp and pointy, perfect for grabbing and holding food. You can tell this is a meat eater by the canine teeth. Meat eaters are called carnivores. There will be no fruits and veggies for this animal. So I'll give you a little hint. Showed you this skull earlier. Check out those big canines, right? This skull that I told you is a coyote is a member of this D family. Can you take a guess? E. E is for, the giant sequoia tree is the largest tree on Earth. The blue whale is the largest ocean creature. This is the skull of the largest land animal. Its huge molars are flat because it only eats plants. So we see those flat molars again. And this animal has some big long tusks out in front. Starts with letter E. F is for, brains are mushy. Skulls protect brains. Skulls also protect the organs of 4 senses: hearing, smell, taste, and sight. A sly person can identify this skull. There are only 3 letters in its name. 3 letters, begins with an F. And maybe if some of you have chickens, this animal has gone after your chickens. G is for, a craniologist is someone who studies skulls. The cranium holds the brain. This animal has a huge skull, but it has a small cranium and therefore a small brain. It cannot read. Starts with letter G, and if you notice, it's not that different from H, which should maybe look familiar to you. H is for, here is the only creature on Earth that can read this book. Yay! We all love to read. Notice the huge cranium in relation to the overall size of the skull. If you look in the mirror, you can easily identify this one. I is for, this fast and graceful African animal has eye sockets on the side of its skull. It has monocular vision. Each eye sees something different. It is always on the lookout because it does not want to get eaten by hungry predators. Eyes on the side, likes to hide. J is for moo, moo, moo. This is a cow skull. There are many different types of cows. Do some research. Why would a cow be on the J page? Cows and other plant eaters are called herbivores. What do you think? Can you find a type of cow that should be on the J page? K is for, if this marsupial were alive, you would be able to identify it right away. It hops on its hind legs and carries its baby in a pouch. The lower front teeth are very interesting. They are shaped like a trowel. Can you see its lower front teeth? Do you know an animal that likes to hop and has a baby in its pouch? Starts with letter K. L. L is for, you can tell this is a predator because the eyes are in the front of its head, looking forward. It has binocular vision, just like you. Both eyes look at the same thing. Maybe it is a good time to learn a little poem. Oh, here we go. Eyes in the front, likes to hunt. Eyes on the side, likes to hide. M. Context clues. What is M laying on? These animals are experts at climbing and swinging from trees. Scientists have learned that the deoxyribonucleic acid, just call it DNA, of these animals is almost exactly the same as human DNA. So a mammal that starts with an M likes to climb and swing and is very similar to humans. N. N is for this sea mammal's tusk is one of its teeth that grew extra long. That's pretty cool. It is sometimes called a swimming unicorn. You are looking at the top of a very different skull. This mammal has a blowhole. Its nasal opening is on top. What could it be? O is for this is the only great ape that lives in Asia. It spends most of its whole life in trees. You can clearly see the jaws. The upper jaw is called the maxilla. The lower jaw is called the mandible. P. P is for this skull is very unusual. It has carnivore type teeth, but the animal only eats bamboo. You can look right into the nasal passage and see where the sinuses are. What animal only eats bamboo that starts with a P? If you were just at bear class, you know this one. Q. Q is for right away. We will tell you that this is a porcupine skull. That's pretty tricky. It is often called something else. Do some research. Figure it out. So can you find a name for a porcupine that starts with the letter Q? I heard this as a kid, this nickname for them, and I thought it was so funny. So I encourage you to look this one up. It is easy to see the zygomatic arches. They were connected to muscles that moved the jaw. You can see on either side. R is for, here's a skull with two horns. What is the difference between a horn and an antler? Horns stay attached to the skull, while antlers are shed every year. The white-tailed deer on the front cover of this book has antlers. So we can see that here, and that's also the one I showed you too. So these would be antlers and not horns. S is for the bumblebee bat of Thailand is considered the smallest mammal on Earth. This is the skull of the smallest mammal in North America. Its skull is less than 1 inch long. This creature eats bugs. Bug eaters are called insectivores. Look at that tiny little skull. Give you a hint. Maybe some of you have found this skull or parts of this skull in an owl pellet before. T is for, it is not a lion or a bear. Oh my, this ferocious carnivore is the largest cat in the world. If you see one of these, run. But it can run faster than you. Look, we can tell it's a carnivore, remember, by those big canine teeth. And we can see zygomatic arches for really powerful jaws that can crush food. U is for, really, who knows though? It is unknown. The government denies the existence of these aliens. What planet are they from? It is unknown. What language did they speak? It is unknown. What material are their skulls made of? It is unknown. If someone asks you about this unidentified flying skull, say, I don't know anything. V is for, does this page make you wonder what type of blood you have? Ooh, spooky for Halloween. This flying mammal is nocturnal. Nocturnal animals come out at night. This animal has a bad reputation, but it has very tiny teeth. Do not be afraid. Flying mammal that starts with V, and they're talking about blood. I will say that don't worry, we don't have any of this mammal in North America, so no need to be afraid of them. W is for, this animal is a member of the pig family. It eats everything. Herbivores eat plants. Carnivores eat meat. Insectivores eat bugs. Animals that eat everything are called omnivores. Omni meaning all. People eat everything too. After reading this book, you can go eat some bugs. Again, we see some tusks here. That might give us a hint to this animal. Maybe think of an animal featured in The Lion King. X. Scientists classify animals like this: kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. X is for armadillo. That's right, armadillo. Why? Because it's from the animal kingdom, phylum Chordata, class Mammalia, order Xenartha. That's where that X comes in. Family, Dasypodidae. Genus, Dasypus. Genus, Dasypus. Species, Novemcinctus. It is a 9-banded armadillo, which is the same order with sloths, anteaters, and other armadillos. All right, so you don't have to guess X. They gave it to you. 9-banded armadillo. Pretty cool. You can kind of see, they gave you a hint here too. It says it's in the same group as sloths, anteaters, and other armadillos. And we see a kind of similar skull structure as our first animal. Y is for, this hairy animal lives in the high altitudes and sub-zero weather. The female is called a knack. Skulls are not just one piece of solid bone. The many parts are held together by jagged joints called sutures. So you can see this jagged joint called a suture. And I'll show you on our deer skull too. This one is very jagged up here. It's heavy. Last one. Ignore the vulture. Z is not for zebra shark, zebra mussel, zebra swallowtail butterfly, zebra moray eel, zebra grass, zebra pipefish, zebra finch, zebra caterpillar, zebra-tailed lizard, zebra spider, or a zebra worm. And a zillion tries. Can you figure it out? Z is for, what do you think? The end. So that is our story for today. As you head out and enjoy Halloween, maybe go on a nature hike and see if you can find any skulls or bones or pieces of animals out on your hike, because sometimes we can find those things in nature. This was a really nice skull that I found. It was a raccoon skull. Unfortunately, I left it where my dog could get it, and he gave it a little crunchy crunch, and now it's pretty broken up. But you can still see those zygomatic arches before they got crunched, and he had a full set of teeth, which was pretty cool. So go out and see what you can find. In lieu of additional resources and activities this week, I just want you to see if you can find out every skull in this book. So make a list number 1 through 26, or I should say letter it, A through Z, and see if you can identify every single skull in this book. I can post an answer key if people aren't interested in that. But try it on your own before you look at the answers, because this is a super fun quiz and they gave really great clues. And I feel confident that you guys can figure it out. So thank you for coming to another story time. Head out, enjoy nature, see what you can find, and we'll see you again soon for another story. Bye-bye. Happy Halloween.